come as a surprise to some of you to note, yes, the royal family still use the tower to this day. But many of the tower's original purposes, uses of course, have been lost in the midst of time. So I suppose before we move on from here, it's only right, I guess, that we cover a few. The tower, you see, was originally built as a citadel to command and defend the City of London. We still, of course, use the tower to house the crown jewels, the royal regalia. Here, too, the nation's first public records office, its first royal observatory. Us, not the Royal Mint. For nearly 600 years, the tower was, yes, a public zoo. However, we, of course, know the tower more famously as a prison, a place of dread torture and execution. But even then, you'd be surprised to note, in those days at least, very few of our prisoners were actually executed within the tower. Indeed, at that time, it was considered one of the greatest of privileges to be executed here. Not what I'd like to take up myself. However, judging by your faces, you may all want to volunteer. No, the vast majority of our prisoners sentenced to death will be taken up there behind you to Tower Hill, site of the City of London's public execution spot. And there, in those trees, that small park, between the 14th and 18th centuries, was once located the City of London's prideful public execution spot. And 125 famous men, prisoners of the Tower, were to suffer. There on top of a temporary platform or scaffold, in front of thousands of men, women and children, by means of the block and axe, their heads would be struck from their bodies. Once this had occurred, their heads, still bleeding, would be forced onto the end of a metal tin pipe, held aloft then in the air with great joy and jollity. I guess humour was somewhat different in those days. The heads taken down into London Bridge, placed there, often with many others, left there to rot, to serve as a warning to all who would enter the city. Meanwhile, the headless bodies were returned to the tower by means of a hand cart for a hasty burial in the hallowed walls of the Chapel Royal of St Peter and Vincula. The very place we, like those dead bodies, will be ending our tour today. Hand cart already. But I think finished here. I'd like to make a small gap. Time to over here through the arch.